Karen the Warm Spinster here. Thanks for joining me today on my channel. Always happy to have you here. I'm especially happy this morning. I looked out at my rhododendron bush thinking, looks so beautiful. Bees love it. And son of a gun, here comes a big old fat bee that's just having the time of his life. That's exciting. Anyway, I am going to work today on doing something with these pieces, which are offcuts or waste from So Wonderful's Wonder Curve ruler. I'm making a wall hanging for my entryway using that ruler, and I have these pieces and I just can't not do something with them. So, and they're curves, so what's not to like? I think I'm going to pair these with black fabric and just do match the curve as I would if I were doing an improv curve, and do a bunch of those and then combine it with other stuff. And I don't know what the other stuff is going to be, but it will be something black. I don't know if I'll use black and white prints in it or not. And then I also want an accent color, and I'm not sure what that is yet. So I want to put together some of these, maybe with some other just improv pieces or blocks, and try out some different colors and see what I think. You know me, I'm going to go for solids, but you could also use a print fabric as well. But not to get ahead of myself here, I am going to go see if I can find some black fabric, do a few curves, and then we'll come back and regroup. And here are some just randomly cut pieces and with some curves cut out of them. You might have noticed in the fast forward that I didn't necessarily cut exactly the same curve. And while it wasn't exactly on purpose, I wasn't being too careful about that because it's an improv sort of thing anyway. They aren't going to turn out exactly the same, even though they are cut exactly the same. And in the process of doing that cutting, of course, now I have some other black pieces that have some curves cut into them that I can use in the same piece, so I can have a positive, negative sort of effect. I'm going to sew some of these, come back, and we'll regroup again. Here are some of the pieces I have made, and I just love doing this kind of thing. Now I'm going to cut pieces and start putting them together, see what I want to do with them. I'm beginning to, in my mind, I'm seeing this quilt's name as Sliver, because once I sew these, that's going to be pretty sliverish. And the accent fabrics, I'm seeing them as just slivers inserted here and there. I'm getting to the point where I need to decide on the accent color. Red would be a natural, but I've got the Alice quilt that has the red and black and white, so I'm looking for a different one. And I pulled some options from my solid stash, and they aren't going to be overwhelming, so I have to kind of look at them as slivers. Sorry about the dogs next door. They currently have 4 because a new grandbaby is staying at their house with her parents for a while, and they have 3 dogs on top of the dog that's already there, so I'm sorry. Can't do anything about that. I love dogs. I just don't want to make you guys listen to their barking. All right. And I'm not sure about that. And I'm not sure if I want a bright color or a soft color. I have lately on my improvs been doing more with softer colors. And they still work against black. That's just almost too dark. I want quite a lot of contrast with the black, and I have to see what that is. I'm kind of liking this seafoam sort of color lately. It's not bad. Got a different blue here. More of a Mediterranean blue. Mediterranean really is a beautiful, just almost unbelievable blue. It's okay. I have this lighter seafoamy, tealy kind of color. And I could do different shades of the same color like I did with the coral in Circuit. I really am leaning toward this just because it's a color I like right now. And I probably have other shades down in my stash somewhere, but I think I'm going to start with that. Let me know which one you liked. You know, this is not a democratic decision because I need to make the decision now, but let me know what you would choose as an accent color. Okay, so I need to think about whether I want the black to be more predominant or the white. I'm not sure yet. We'll see where it takes us. Now, on some of these, I have choices for how I cut them to put them together. I can make this into another curve, or I can make a curve like that, or I could just do a slice. And I think there's so much curve going on already. As much as I love curves, I think I'm going to cut that down. And then do I want this to be, well, we'll wait on that. This one, I kind of like that it's flattened on this end. It's a little bit different look. It's not so leafy looking. Obviously, I like leaf shapes, but... And while I do want to do some of this positive negative stuff, I don't want that necessarily to be what the quilt is about. So let's slice this one. In my head, when I was thinking about this, these are not double-sided curves, they're just single-sided, like this, which would be up against, say, another piece here. And I think I might still go with that for the most part. So I want to trim these down. I like this nice long strip. It's going to be very narrow sliver over there. I'm okay with that. I am actually, because these pieces were fairly small, gosh, someone's got them agitated over there. And they have a 6-foot fence all around, so not sure what they're seeing, but all right. So how would that look with the sliver of this? It's a very long piece. Pardon my elbow in here. Just a little sliver there, or a little sliver on that side. With maybe another piece like that. Lots of ways we could start putting this together. So, all right. Have I got everything? Oh, I've got that one large piece that isn't trimmed yet either. Sorry, this is messy, but improv is messy. And that one is trimmed. What have I not trimmed? This piece. So, Do I want to divide this? I think I do. And I'm going to divide it like that. Trim off a couple things here. Oops, haven't trimmed that quite yet. And I have many more white things I could work on if I can dig up some black. I'm trying to use mostly scraps for this. And goodness knows I had plenty of those. And lots more white scraps than black at this point. Okay. And there are many more of these. I'm not limited to just what I have here. I'm not even sure how I feel about these double curve pieces in this. That's kind of a different concept. Maybe somewhere in there. I love this. I really do. Not sure it's going to fit in, but I'll hang on to it. And just want to start thinking about how these pieces might go together. And of course I'll need filler in here, either black or white or both. And I might even make these even more of a sliver, just because I don't necessarily want them all the same size. I don't necessarily want them all vertical either. I might want some that are horizontal or at an angle. I suppose what I really need to do is start cutting some white and black strips and do some filling in here. Do I want the white, this to be the only white, these pieces? Not sure. I love black, but I'm not sure I want that much of it. I'm going to pull out some black and white and see how they're all going to fit into this. I have a few white pieces here to play with, and while I was looking through my stash, I found this, which could be interesting. Maybe not, maybe, but that's an option. It's always nice to have lots of pieces to play with. And at some point, I'm just going to have to put something together and see how it looks. All right, if we have this, and there may be a piece of accent in there. And no, my stash in my drawer over here is not neatly pressed. It's actually kind of a mess, if you want to know the truth. Setting those aside for the moment, and see, we have another one like that. We could go predominantly black, then predominantly white, and sort of alternate, not the same width, but I'm not looking for symmetry here. And what if we do an angle? It's kind of hard to see until you get it put together, isn't it? This looks more like Alice tumbling down. All right, first thing I'm going to do, I think, is put together this piece. And at some point, I will put in a sliver of seafoam or teal or whatever that color is. Do I want one piece in opposition there? I think I like that. All right, so I'm going to need to fill in with some black here. And then also, oh, I'm sorry about all the neighborhood noise. Now they're cleaning up next door the mess that they made when they cut down all the trees. You know, that's not half bad either. To have some white down there. Let's see if I can find it. Chunk of block I can put up here just to see. I think that needs a sliver of the seafoam in there. So I'm going to try putting all that together. If worse comes to worse, I have to take it apart again. My life won't end. Do I want this? Nope, don't want it to be in line with that. So I'll need some black filler in here, which I will take care of. And I'll insert some seafoam in there, and then I'll be back. And I'm wandering a lot, I know. So just fair warning, there will be more of this going on, always on this channel. So if you're looking for a step-by-step with measurements, this is not the right place for that. Welcome, but I'll understand if you want to move on. Okay, I'm going to put this piece together in some fashion, and then we'll think about this piece and take it from there. I'm anxious to see how it looks. I think you probably are too. Just look at the black strip I found in my stash. It was meant to be. It cleaned up pretty nicely, I think. I added in an angle up here with some white to kind of balance down out this section. Now I have lots of choices for other pieces to add on, but one of those choices is to insert some more of these. Unclear if I want to do that at this point, but I don't think I do. Now I've introduced an angle up here, so I might be interested in doing some more angles. I might try doing a section that has these, at least some, at an angle, and then see how that might fit in with this piece. Because the angle will give it some more interest and help the eye to travel around the quilt. And I can also do some slivers going in a horizontal direction. Maybe. Not sure. I could also slice through and do a sliver of it through here. Let me try that. You know, what can it hurt? Just be another piece I have to sew later, which is not a big deal. And it's going to throw that curve off a bit because I want it to be just a sliver, but I can probably match these up pretty well, and then I'll have to slice that a bit, but that doesn't bother me. All right, that's my next step, and then we'll decide. Maybe we'll just go with this angle that's already here. This nice big mat, now I have to pay more attention to whether I'm in frame. That could be pretty cool. All right, so I will put that slice in, and then we'll regroup. How about one at a different angle then? We'll see. All right, one step at a time, Karen. As I'm putting this together, I had that long piece here, but if I want to maintain this curve going through here, I'm going to have to break it into pieces because I don't want to applique these on. So now I'm going to need to do a curved black piece here. And then I can add those two together, put a curve there, and then continue up there. So it's going to have to be done in, the curve will be in 3 pieces then. I pulled this out of my scraps to fill in here, but I just like that shape too much. So I'm going to save that for something else. And I will, well, this is going to have to be filled in a bit too before I can do the curve. Here's a piece that's already got a bit of a curve in it, so that could be useful there or up there. So I will go ahead and do that and check back in with you. Here is where we're at the end of the day, at the end of this video day anyway. And it was quite a lot of putting stuff together and rehashing and changing my mind, but mostly it's pretty close to what I had pieced out. Now it's me. So of course I'm thinking about circles. I don't know if they're going to end up there or not. There may not be any circles, but when I see this much of a single color, then there's a part of me that wants to put something in there. And we may find out next time that it's something entirely different than circles, but it's a thought. It could also be white circles on black and black circles on white, etc. But this is where we're at, and I'm going to call it a day. I need to go add to the neighborhood noise and get some mowing finished and water the birds. Thanks for being with me today. Be sure to let me know what your color choice would have been. Next week, we'll probably explore some more of this, and I hope to see you then. In the meantime, be well, be safe, be happy, be quilting. Peace out.